We've all been there. The classic school group project where one person pulls a caffeine-fueled all-nighter while the ghost member shows up 5 minutes before the deadline just to add their name to the slide. Well, in the grand Keep Earth Alive project, the ocean is the one carrying the team while the rainforests get all the Instagram credit. While we often call forests the lungs of the planet, it's actually the ocean that produces between 50% and 80% of our oxygen, primarily through the tireless, invisible photosynthesis of ocean plankton, algae, and the tiny but mighty bacterium known as Prochlorococcus. This little guy alone generates up to 20% of the oxygen in our entire biosphere. That is more than all the world's tropical rainforests combined, yet most of us can't even pronounce its name. This means that at least half of every breath you take is brought to you by the wide, mysterious expanse of blue dihydrogen oxide. Beyond just being a giant air purifier, the ocean acts as our most vital buffer against climate change, absorbing roughly 30% of human-made carbon dioxide emissions, and functioning as a massive carbon sink that stabilizes the entire global climate. It isn't just a secondary player. It is the central nervous system of Earth's survival. Certain ocean habitats, like seagrasses and mangroves, are the real overachievers of the group, sequestering carbon at rates up to 4 times higher than terrestrial forests and storing a staggering 1,000 tons of carbon per hectare within their biomass and underlying soils. These ecosystems aren't just carbon vaults. They also support healthy fisheries, improve water quality, and provide a literal shield for coastal communities against floods and storms. Then we have coral reefs, which are basically the high-value real estate of the sea. They cover less than 0.1% of the ocean floor, yet they support over 25% of all marine biodiversity and provide food, medicine, and livelihoods for over 1 billion people. However, our increasing greenhouse gas emissions are making the water warmer and more acidic, essentially throwing vinegar on the ocean's homework and reducing its ability to protect us. This acidification is a silent crisis, making it harder for the ocean to breathe so that we can breathe. If that wasn't enough, the ocean is also an untapped powerhouse for renewable energy. Think about offshore wind, wave energy, and tidal power, natural sources that don't emit a single gram of CO2. It's like the ocean is offering to pay for the group's pizza and do the extra credit, yet we're still struggling to give it a passing grade. Thankfully, the third United Nations Ocean Conference, held in Nice in June 2025, finally signaled a shift toward accountability. Countries adopted a bold declaration with over 800 voluntary commitments focused on pollution control and high seas governance. A major milestone was the progress on the BBNJ agreement, the legal framework for biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. As of now, 50 states have ratified it, leaving us just 10 short of the 60 needed to make this ocean constitution enter into force and finally protect the wild west of the open sea. Protecting this oxygen factory requires a dual approach. We have to mitigate global climate change while simultaneously cleaning up our local act by reducing single-use plastics, using eco-friendly products, and supporting sustainable seafood. It's a wild, mostly unexplored world down there, where 94% of all Earth's life resides, and 95% of those residents are invertebrates who don't even have a backbone to complain about the pollution. The geography is even stranger than fiction. There are literal underwater lakes and rivers that flow beneath the sea when salt water meets hydrogen sulfide, creating a landscape that looks like another planet. The scale is truly immense. While the average ocean depth is about 3.7 kilometers, the Mariana Trench plunges down over 11 kilometers, meaning if you dropped Mount Everest into it, the peak would still be 2 kilometers underwater. The ocean is also the world's largest museum, holding more artifacts and shipwrecks than all the museums on land combined. Yet, despite its importance, more than 80% of our ocean remains unmapped and unexplored. We actually have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own seabed, and its hidden mountain ranges that span over 40,000 miles. Think about that. We are obsessed with finding life on other planets, when 90% of the life on our planet is currently swimming in a dark abyss we haven't even bothered to photograph yet. We are basically ignoring the smartest person in the room because they're sitting in the basement. It is high time we realized that the water bodies of our world don't just deserve an honorary mention at the end of the credits. They deserve our full respect and immediate protection. Conserving these areas is not just a nice thing to do for the dolphins. It is an absolute requirement for human survival. We need to stop taking the researcher of the group for granted and start acting like the survival of the project depends on it, because it does. We are all passengers on this big blue marble, and if the engine room, the ocean, fails, it won't matter how nice the trees look on deck. So the next time you take a deep, satisfying breath, remember that you're inhaling the hard work of a billion tiny microbes and a vast, churning sea that asks for nothing in return but a little less trash. Let's give a lungful of appreciation to the deep blue
classic
as we
school
sign
group
off.
project where one
Stay
person
salty,
pulls a
stay
caffeine-fueled
curious,
all-nighter
and keep the
while the
science
ghost
moving.
member shows